Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Mayuko and welcome back to my channel. So, there's a lot of career advice out there. A lot of career advice for software engineers, people who work in tech, just people in general. And I know that I have made a lot of videos about career advice and stuff, but today I wanted to make something a little bit different. I've been thinking a lot about just like
working, how we work, how to work well, what does working mean, what relationship do I have to work, because that's been changing a lot.
And I realized that I have these things in my brain still from the days that I was a software engineer about like the hidden secrets of like advice and career tips and stuff that no one really taught me but has proved extremely useful for me in my career. And quick note before we start, this is extremely subjective. These are very much my opinions. So the first hidden secret that I want to talk about kind of underlies everything that I do, which is around if you don't understand something, seek out why, and always choose curiosity over judgment. If you seek curiosity over judgment, you're just going to learn a lot more. The world's going to become bigger to you. You're going to be able to see things from different perspectives. I think it allows your creativity to flourish as well. And people are going to notice, like you're going to have all these innovative ideas and thoughts and perspectives that people are going to seek you out for because you're open to like learning about things and like really diving in and like growing your skill set and all of that. Just in life, you know, when you seek something or you find something that you don't know, I feel like it's always best to look at it with curiosity than to judge it first. And I think that also comes from like a place of humility, knowing that we're never going to understand everything. We're never going to know everything. I definitely really felt that like 3 or 4 years into my career, and I was like, I know what I'm doing, but I also have no idea what I'm doing. And if anything, I know everything that I don't know more. And so that kind of humbled me. And like, instead of being overwhelmed by that or being kind of like, oh, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like, so I'm going to judge everything that I don't know, might as well be open to it. Let the energy flow through you, let the knowledge flow through you, and allow yourself to be curious. Hidden secret number 2, which I think is kind of like a telltale sign of, I don't want to call it maturity, but let's just say like experience of somebody in their job. And that is to be resourceful. So to me, being resourceful means like going a little bit of the extra mile or like being really good at finding things or unblocking yourself to allow yourself to do the job that you need. So if you're blocked because you need assets from a designer, like maybe go look for it yourself and see if you can find it yourself. Or just like create some like mock design assets that you can use in the meantime while you're waiting for the designer to come back to you. Because if you're resourceful like that, if you just help others and help yourself do work and unblock yourself in that way, people also notice. So that designer who has those assets that you really need might really appreciate that you went kind of on your own way and unblocked yourself so that you're not kind of putting pressure on this designer to like deliver everything, because you don't know what's going on in their life. They're probably also swamped too. I just think that if you're resourceful, then people notice, mostly in the form of like they like working with you because they see it as you supporting them in their role. When people like you, your job is easier because then they're more likely to work well with you and they're more likely to return the favor as well and be easy to work with. So be resourceful. Another common tip about leading a successful career in tech is to arrive with skills that are necessary for the job. And so that's where I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, AWS Courses. So Amazon launched AWS Courses in October of last year as a way to help you to learn everything there is to know about AWS, created by AWS experts. By the way, if you don't know what AWS is, it's Amazon Web Services, and it's one of the most popular cloud platforms there are out there, and a lot of different companies use it. So chances are, if you're a software engineer, you're gonna come across it. So if you've ever wondered how it works, how to use it, and how to use it well, then AWS Courses has got you covered there. You can choose from a selection of popular courses and receive video, text, and quizzes, as well as various interactive knowledge checks and downloadable materials. So say that you're in college or you've just graduated college and you want to appeal to a new employer, then you can arrive with these AWS skills by taking these courses. By the way, all of the courses on there are free. And so if you're interested, then go to amazon.com/AWS courses to start learning today. Thank you so much to AWS Courses for sponsoring, and now let's get back to the video. Hidden secret number 3, which this is something that I definitely had to learn throughout my career, is to stop asking for permission. This lesson I think was actually the hardest for me to learn because I've only ever asked for permission in my whole life. Permission to go hang out with friends, permission to spend money, permission to exist sometimes. I feel like it's a very Japanese kind of thing. There's a saying of like, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, which is kind of aggro, I'm not gonna lie. Not a huge fan of it, but the essence of it I think is valid. And specifically, I mean in things like tech where like sometimes you really need to gain so much support and alignment in order to get the approval to work on things. But if you could just like make the thing and then show to people why it's good, people are a lot easily convinced that way that it is a good idea. And so if you are kind of someone who is not great at gathering support and alignment, which let me tell you is a really hard thing, then just do the thing and then see what happens there. It's very tricky to know like how to do things without stepping over a line, which really involves you needing to know where that line is. So like talk to your manager about those lines, what those boundaries are, who's responsible for what you can help out on, get a second opinion before you cross that boundary a little bit, and do things without permission from another person to see if it's a good idea. A lot of different ways without being like super aggro about it. The fourth hidden secret is that communicating your limits doesn't mean that you are weak or unskilled. So it's really hard to communicate your limits because I feel like in tech there's this kind of like more is better, do the most work that you can, the best work that you can, push yourself to your limit, grind, hustle culture, etc., etc. But the reality is we all have limits. We have limits on how much work we can do, how much energy we have for that work, and that's totally okay. I used to think that like by saying that you can't do something or that like you have a limit to something, it means that you're weak or that you're not able to do that. That's not true. It just means that you have boundaries and you have limits, and that's totally human. And to recognize it, it's a lot better / like people like that more than saying that you can deliver something or saying that you can do something and then not doing it. By communicating those boundaries, people can have the correct expectations for you. And then if you end up like over exceeding, then they're like pleasantly surprised. It's better if you can say that you're working on them or that you want to be better at like being able to do the thing that you can't do, but it's okay. Like I feel like you're always doing a favor to people if you can communicate clearly what you can and can't do. Hidden secret number 5 is this whole concept of this I scratch your back, you scratch mine. When you're working with other people, you're working in a certain context. You are doing work together to like deliver features or build a service or improve on an existing one, especially if you're a software engineer. The context and pretext of all of this being that you are employed at a company that has a mission that they want to do or solve or a product that they want to build, and you are working to contribute to that. So you're going to try your best in a way that feels most authentic to you in order to contribute to that. Your coworkers are also going to try their best, hopefully, in order to contribute to that in the way that feels most authentic to them. And it's natural that there's going to be collaboration points where you do those things together. And then when it comes to collaboration, it's just like any other relationship. I think it has to be equal. There has to be like an equal amount of investment from both sides in order to work. And so I think that's where this kind of whole like I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing comes up. In order to garner like support, favor, like in order to be liked by other people in your company, sometimes you have to do things for them, sometimes they have to do things for you, but at the end of the day, it's like it has to be a mutual relationship because favors do happen in companies. Like say for instance that I do all of the reviews for a pull request for a given like coworker, but they don't review any of my stuff even though I sent it to them. That'd be kind of unfair, right? And so by me taking on someone else's pull request, I fully expect that they're also willing and likely to review my pull request so long as it makes sense and they're the right person to review it. That's not to say that you can't have like good, warm like feedback sessions with each other if the balance gets thrown off or like the balance always has to be at 50-50. But I think in order to have healthy work relationships, it's a really important thing to like be able to keep track of to see whether your relationships with other people at work are fair. Next hidden secret is that you are going to outgrow your role, and that's totally okay. I don't know if this is actually super secret because I think a lot of people know that, especially given that people in tech change jobs every 1.5 to 2 years sort of thing. But it's okay, like a job is not forever, and so you should know that when you're signing on to a company. You should also know that when you're starting feeling like this role ain't it for me anymore at a company too. And so that's related to the next hidden secret, which is sometimes the best way to get a raise or like level up in your career is to switch jobs. It's unfortunate that this is the case, but management and leadership at different companies are not equal, which is totally fine because I think the industry is kind of made so like you can thrive in certain environments but not others, but that's because there's so many different companies and cultures and people and teams out there. And so if you're just kind of feeling like, I feel like I've learned everything that I could from these people or this project or this team or technology, it's okay to move on. Honestly, the company is going to exist without you. Honestly, the code base is not gonna explode if you're gone. If you're a software engineer, if you're a founder, it's probably gonna shake up things. And I think most companies fully understand this, that people are trying to advocate for themselves and their career. And so if they feel like they're not getting what they need at a company, they're gonna leave, and that's totally fine. The best managers and leaders totally get that. If they don't, then I think it can be kind of a toxic environment, so you should probably reassess that. And then my last hidden secret, which is related to kind of this whole like, if you are gonna leave a company, then when you're gonna look for a new company, then it's to look past the curtains of hype and courtship at any company to see what's really going on. This actually isn't limited to just like looking for a new job, but just like in general. This is gonna sound really pessimistic, but people are really good at marketing, people are really good at hyping things up in tech, and you have to like look past that and see what's actually going on. Because especially for engineers, when we are really dealt with dealing with the details and actually executing on stuff, we are where the rubber hits the road. And so if recruiters are painting a rosy picture of what it's like to work there, or managers are doing that, I think it's really important to be realistic about like, okay, so like, yes, the company culture and the company work-life balance is awesome, but where does it suck? And can I live with that? And if a company says they're changing the world for things, then like really kind of think about it, because it's really easy to appeal to that side to individual contributors, like the work that you were doing is changing the world. But realistically, is it though? Like, is it really changing the world, or is it changing this certain aspect of things for these individual people in certain use cases? And what's actually happening is gonna differ, like based on who you are and what your perspectives are on the life and the world and stuff. But that's important to do. You have to understand what your values are and like what you're willing to live with and not live with. So for instance, if you're interviewing at a company, you could ask those existing employees, what are the challenges that you and your team are facing right now? Some employees might not be comfortable talking about that, which is totally fine, because employees sometimes don't want to like talk poorly of their employer because the employer has the power to fire that person. There's this whole kind of power misbalance there. So yeah, don't fall for the jargon, don't fall for the marketing. It's good, it has a purpose, there's a place, there's a reason why you were able to find that company, because you resonated with the message that's getting put out. But if you're really thinking about what is gonna be the day-to-day or what it's like to work with that person, or you're gonna work on a project with them, be realistic. All right, so those are all the hidden secrets of leading a tech career from me to you. Hopefully that was helpful. I apologize if none of that made sense, but in my mind it does. If you have any hidden secrets for others or for me, then leave them in the comments down below. Again, one of the inspirations for this video is just like seeing this in day-to-day life, even in my work, and realizing what's helped me to get to where I am, and also helping others to get to different parts of their career, as I've been kind of giving advice to like individuals, you all, people through my iOS Dev Academy on what it takes to become a successful software engineer. Which yes, success looks different and means different things to different people, but I think there are some core truths that allow you to like do the work that you want to do, no matter what that work is. A lot of it honestly is just being a fun and good and easy person to work with, because everybody likes to work with people who are easy to work with. And so hopefully these skills will help you. By the way, this code sweatshirt is limited edition, so you can pre-order using the link down below if you're watching this at the right time. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!